Hey guys, it's Liv here, and in today's video, we're going to be using a Chien-Pao team to take on my good pal OG Albina, a fellow content creator who covers a lot of competitive content. So if you guys enjoy this and you want to see more, leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out Owen. His link's going to be down below. But with that said, comment your thoughts on the battle and the team itself, and if you want to use it, link to it will be down below with the rental code, as well as to the pace if you want to use it in Showdown. But with that said, let's get started. This team, of course, is built around Chien-Pao, but first up we do have Iron Valiant, which is a pretty decent support piece for this Pokemon. With the Life Orb Quark Drive, you're able to honestly use this as an incredible sweeper with Sword Stance, and with options such as Close Combat, Spirit Break, and Psycho Cut, you have a lot of strong options in your offense. I personally like the Close Combat Terastal on this with the Terastal Fighting. I think it's a really good option to clear through Pokemon that otherwise would give a bit of issues to generally Chien-Pao sets, specifically other dark types such as Kingambit. I think is the biggest issue for Chien-Pao, despite the fact that you could potentially go with some sort of Sacred Sword option for that. Chien-Pao definitely has a bit of Fort Moveset syndrome, and I like to leave that option at least not forced into Chien-Pao to clear. Other Pokemon, of course, that Iron Valiant is great at handling is Pokemon such as Toxapex with the option for Psycho Cut. And yeah, honestly, I just like this combination a lot. It's a really deadly combination going into the OU tier, and Iron Valiant, in my opinion, is probably one of the best offensive support options you can get. But we do have a few other Pokemon in general that should hopefully help our Chien-Pao team. The next Pokemon, of course, being Dragapult with the Choice Specs. This will be a great pivot, and it's a great option to handle Flutter Mane, which is right now one of the best options that could, in theory, speed tie you, considering they both have 135 speed, whereas Dragapult hits 142 speed. This Pokemon with the Choice Specs is a great option for the OU tier, as really one of the only checks this Pokemon would either be Terrestrial Normal, going for something like maybe some sort of really speed up Grafaiai and getting predictions right constantly, or going for Tyranitar. And this Pokemon can also just pivot around Tyranitar, and we can go into something such as Iron Valiant and clear it for Pokemon such as Dragapult, and even to a degree Chien-Pao, specifically if you decide not to run Sacred Sword in your set. Next up though, we do have Tyranitar. Speaking of, it's great for the potential matchups against other Dragapult, and I like it a lot for the just general chip over time. It's a great hazard setter for this team, and with Thunder Wave, it's amazing speed control to allow Chien-Pao to sweep significantly easier, as well as potentially Iron Valiant. This BDF is mostly, again, just for Dragapults. Typically they run Choice Specs, though obviously Dragon Dance does have a place, to be fair. Just right now there's a lot of better Dragon Dance options, and Dragapult's typically just meant to be a really good Revenger for Flutter Mane if it's not Scarf. We do have Slowking here with the Assault Vest. Pretty good SpinF pivot. I'm reusing the same Slowking from the last Slowking team with Future Sight, Flamethrower, Psychic, and Surf. Again, really just meant to be a good SpinF option. Generally all around good bulky SpinF pivot. Great for stuff like Iron Bundler, for example, which has been a pretty big nuisance in previous testing for this team. Especially with Terrestrial Water, it's been busy. Well, it's had a pretty good job at taking out the team otherwise. So having Slowking here with the Assault Vest is definitely a pretty good check to that mon, if nothing else, since it does just barely outpace our Chien-Pao. Speaking of Chien-Pao, we do have one more support option for it, being Corviknight, which is Brave Bird, U-Turn, Roost, and Defog. Really good just general hazard remover, so that way then in case if our boots get knocked off on Chien-Pao, we can get rid of them. Also, it's a great option to clear hazards for stuff like Iron Valiant, for example. And with the Corviknight in general, it's kind of just a really obnoxiously hard Pokemon to KO, and typically it's just a really good defensive piece in tandem with Slowking, and they're able to honestly put a ton of pressure defensively on the metagame, and it does allow for a lot of just blanket checking a Pokemon that might otherwise threaten Chien-Pao, or at least stop it from sweeping as easily. But finally, though, we of course do have Chien-Pao with the heavy-duty boots with the Sword Stance, Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch, and Sacred Sword set. Personally, I opt for Sacred Sword just because I hate having to rely on just Iron Valiant to take on Kingambit and T-Tar matchups, which otherwise would threaten this a ton. We're Terrestrial Dark on today's set. I figure this would be a bit more beneficial for Ghost types for Dragapult, specifically ones that are on the slower end, or even just Psychic types as well, just for Iron Valiant. Terrestrial Dark also just has a lot better of a neutral option I found against a lot of the metagame, as really there aren't a lot of great Fairies or Darks in the tier that would otherwise resist you. So I like the Terrestrial Dark on this Pokemon personally, though I might end up going for Terrestrial Fighting on Iron Valiant, just depending on the matchup that Owen ends up bringing to this game. I think one of those two will be a Terrestrial pick, but ultimately though, I think that regardless, Chien-Pao has enough support pieces to where we could definitely build a good sweep around it. With that said though, I'll be seeing you guys in the match. Until then, peace out guys. Hey guys, it's Liv here. We're re-recording this part real quick, but we're here today taking on my good pal Owen, aka OG Albina. Make sure to check out his link down below if you are interested in some more competitive content, and it's just some general guides. He's been killing it this gen. But we're going to be taking on him today in our Wi-Fi battle. Some noteworthy threats like in his team, he has two different ghost types, so making sure we keep around our Tyranitar and Chien-Pao will be very important for this match, of course. We're going to be building this team around Iron Valiant, which, I'll be honest, maybe this ends up turning to a Chien-Pao set. It's probably going to be a Chien-Pao set in hindsight, just considering looking at the matchup. This mon is kind of busted. But to be fair, Hariyama could maybe stand in the way of this. As far as our lead goes, I'm definitely going to lead off with Pult, I think. Pult should really only be bad against their Azu, Pult, or I guess I mean, potentially, actually, this isn't the best lead, but it's good if nothing else for information. And my Pult offensively can put a lot of pressure on Owen if I get the prediction right. So we're gonna have to see. If nothing else, I will say that Pult, despite being a good mon here, I wouldn't act like it is the most valuable piece to my team this game. So we'll have to see. I do think if nothing else, we can definitely get away with potentially losing Pult early on. So my opponent's gonna lead off with Iron Hands. And this is a mon, I'm not going to lie, I don't like switching on Iron Hands with this team. Considering it gets like Bolt Beam, it gets Plasma Fist, obviously. Well, not Plasma Fist. It gets a lot going for it in general, though, offensively. And this is a mon that I can't really pressure, at the very least, with my switch-ins. So what I think I'm going to do instead, I think I'm just going to go for a Draco. I'm going to go for Draco and just try and get some good damage off, if nothing else. Albeit, that's not bad. Looks kind of like AV, but I don't know if we can really guarantee that from this information. Okay. So, the freeze. Not a huge deal, though. Alright, sorry about the pause there real quick. I realized I left my air conditioner on, and it's very obnoxious in recording. We're just going to let Pult go down here, in all honesty. I'm not really too concerned with keeping around a Frozen Mon, especially when it's this weak. And at the very least, we've revealed, because Owen clicked Thunder Punch here, that this is not a choice variant, which is good information, actually. This is really good information. What I could do from here, I can go right into Iron Valiant, and this should be a really free opportunity actually to Terastal. Terastaling would get rid of, if nothing else, well, I get rid of my Fairy typing, and I don't know if I really want that. Let's see. Is there a way to check for the team again? There we go. Okay, yep. So let's see. Some Mischievous. Getting rid of my Fairy typing might not be the worst thing if nothing else. At the very least, I'm definitely just going to click. I'm gonna click definitely the. I'm just going to click Spirit Break, actually. I was going to click Terastal potentially, but I think Spirit Break, truthfully, is in my best interest here. Because Owen's Fairy checks aren't really that great in this game, albeit he does have Iron Treads, which is at least a good Fairy switch-in, but it's not a good Iron Valiant switch-in at all. So something here is going to be taking a ton of damage from this attack, which it seems like it's going to be the Iron Treads. Okay, so this is fine. I don't entirely mind this, because if nothing else, we should be able to take this out with a close combat on the following turn, especially with the Terastal fighting here. Critical hit, I'm not sure if this matters a ton, but maybe it does. I can't imagine that it does, though. Regardless, we're going to, let's see, so this seems to be leftovers. At the very least, yeah, it's leftovers. I couldn't imagine another item popping from Spirit Break of all things. But we're going to go for the Terastal fighting here. And this should be a pretty good attack. This should hopefully take out the Iron Treads, and if nothing else, Owen's making a double here, it seems, and he's going to go into Dragapult. Okay, well played, Owen. Well played. Because now Owen has a pretty good switch into this, and I need to go right into T-Tar at this point, which means that Owen gets a pretty good U-turn. Well, do I need to switch, actually? I'm kind of curious, actually. Do I need to, like, switch out? By the way, this is such a cool Terastal hat. Just had to point it out there. Such a cool Terastal hat. Let's see. So, Gallade versus, we'll check Gallade versus Dragapult, and we'll just check Spexpult, just assuming worst case scenario, because I don't want to be unprepared for this either. Looking up the Iron Valiant calcs, I mean, Iron Valiant has some okay bulk, 74, and then 60 SpDef. Let's see, 74. Okay, so if nothing else, yeah, this would OHKO me with Draco. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to go right into Corviknight. The Corviknight, if nothing else, should be a lot more difficult for my opponent to just switch around and pivot into, because even if Owen, let's say, goes into Hariyama here, at the very least, Owen would have to risk potentially Brave Bird from a faster set than his Hariyama, assuming that, of course, he's not creeping me. Owen instead goes for the Draco Meteor, which is great, actually, because this means that I can get some nice pivoting. Probably a spec set, in all honesty, which is fine. My leftovers should put me out of range of the next two. So I will definitely take this. And yeah, we're just going to go for a U-turn here. If Owen stays in, that's fine, because I could bring an Iron Valiant at that point, and a -4 Pult will certainly not take me out. So I'm pretty okay with this. He does decide to swap, which is pretty good for me, in all honesty. And Iron Hands does come in. Okay, perfect. So we're going to get some solid initiative here. We can bring right back in our Iron Valiant, and this should put up some amazing offensive pressure. This mod, if nothing else, is a demon with Terastal. And I am pretty fine to actually just go for the Spirit Break here. I don't even really need to set up. I could set up, to be fair, and that would make my damage output a lot better against most of this team, but I don't really feel the need to at this point. And Spirit Break should be, if nothing else, a really strong hit for the Fairy Stab. And if Iron Hands goes down, that's great for Corviknight. It's one of Owen's best breakers for this. Azu could still be a little bit annoying, to be fair, but we're going to see the Iron Hands go down. And I'm really happy about this. This was such an annoying Mon to take on offensively. And meanwhile, Owen's offense, I still have some pretty good defensive checks too, so I will definitely take this. Us losing a little bit of our HP is a bit annoying, but it's not a deal breaker. I'm kind of hoping that Owen doesn't go into Flutter Mane here, but I feel like it's such a likely switch in. Which, if that does happen, I'm probably just going to go right into Tyranitar, actually. No, Owen goes to Pult. Pult's fine. I'm probably still going to go into Tyranitar, actually, on this. And if Owen goes for a U-turn, so be it. I don't really mind this, actually. I could also go into Corviknight. Not Corviknight, Slowking. Because we do have the Assault Vest, and if Owen does click Shadow Ball, I could then go into Tyranitar and at least stop him from pivoting. And if also the logic being if he goes for U-turn here, it's a bit more difficult for him to switch around this, but not. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go into Slowking here. Because Slowking is not too essential to this game, and I can regen off anything pretty easily besides a Shadow Ball this turn. So I'm just going to go into Slowking. I'm assuming it's either a Fire move here or U-turn. He does click Shadow Ball instead. Well played, Owen. Well played. Still does some decent damage. We actually do take this pretty confidently. I'm going to go for a Future Sight, actually. And then I'm going to switch into Tyranitar. Because if nothing else, this should put some good pressure on Owen's team for the later turns. And I don't mind not getting back my entire health from regen, basically. Plus, Owen decides to switch here anyway, which is really good for us. He's going to go into Chien-Pao. Okay, the absolute monster. I don't like this Mon. This Mon is kind of nuts. But we're going to go for the Future Sight, and this should hopefully, if nothing else, put a bit of pressure on Chien-Pao in general. This is kind of a Mon that I do feel like I need to stay in and click Flamethrower versus, despite the fact that I'm objectively aware. Well, hold on, let me double check real quick. What's Owen's team? So, yeah, I think I kind of just need to let this Mon go down. It's not a terrible check to Azu at the very least. Am I going to be super screwed if I let Azu go down? If I let this go down for Azu? Yeah, but to be fair, this isn't going to be super good of a check depending on the Azu set. I'm going to go for Flamethrower. If Owen stays and goes for a Sword Stance, that's great. He goes for Crunch instead. That's fine. We can go from here probably into our Corviknight, I want to say. Because Corviknight should be able to definitely go for a Body Press here and do some good damage. Well, actually, we're going to have to go for a U-turn, but that's still fine. We don't really have a much better play, in all honesty. This Mon is so unbalanced. Holy shit. Because it's basically going to come down to us U-turning, just hoping that this isn't Sash, because I've not set hazards yet. I have no way to verify if this is or isn't Sash. To be fair, it's probably Boots, but I have no way to verify that, and I cannot risk my own Chien-Pao on this. So I do need to break U-turn, break Sash for nothing else. Plus, Owen might switch out thinking that we are Body Press, which would be amazing, actually. If Owen really gets caught by that, would be amazing. Because from there, most likely, Owen would probably be bringing in Azu, if I had to guess. Because Azu would take a Body Press pretty well, and it could, in theory, potentially drum on us, depending on the set. So I'm going to kind of hope that Azu comes in, because that's something I could potentially make work to my advantage. But even still, it wouldn't be great. Owen's going to Terrestrial here instead. Okay. So we're going to have to see, is this Terrestrial Dark? Is this Terrestrial Ice? Is this Terrestrial Electric even? It is Terrestrial Dark. Okay, that's not bad. This should do some good damage to us. This might even take us out, considering its ability is so obnoxiously broken. By ability, I mean specifically... Oh, Owen goes for a Sword Stance. Oh, fuck. That is terrifying. Okay, well, U-turn does some good damage if nothing else, but if we don't win this speed tie, we're kind of screwed. Okay. So I need to double check, actually. We're going to go for Weavile versus Weavile. And we're going to check a +1 Sucker Punch. Do I think this will KO? I'll be honest, I don't know if it'll KO. I'm going to go into T-Tar. Because I think with the Sand Chip, I could take this out with Sucker Punch. And that's kind of what I need to do here. I need to get the Sand Chip just to guarantee it. Because, and the thing is too, is this isn't even entirely safe for me either. But I basically need to go for the Terrestrial, Dark, because I also have Terrestrial Dark. And I need to make sure that Owen, I know for a fact this probably has Sacred Sword. I can't imagine he would be Terrestrial Dark set without Sacred Sword. I'm fine with that. I need T-Tar to go down at this point. It's not even worth really predicting around either. So we're going to go into our own Chien-Pao, and we're going to go for the Terrestrial Dark. Oh, no, we can't even go for Terrestrial Dark. Shit. Okay. So then we're kind of screwed. Well, in that case, then I need to hit a Sacred Sword. Because I forgot, we've already went for Trestle fighting a Gallied. Still might not be terrible, actually. We might still be fine here. But oh my god, this Mon is filthy. Such a terrifying offensive Mon. We're going to go for the Sacred Sword. And I need to kind of hope that I outpace. Nope. Owen outpaces. That's definitely game. Because I have no way to revenge this off. Ugh, this Mon is so fucking unbalanced. Such an objectively broken Pokemon. I cannot wait for a meta where this is not allowed, but we'll have to see. I'm a little bit annoyed at myself, I'm not gonna lie, just for the fact that we're 0-3 right now on Wi-Fi battles this gen. I mean, stuff happens. No one wins every game, but definitely frustrating to say the least. We'll bounce back for sure. I have a few other teams in the back I think that should be pretty good. Just unfortunate because I thought this team would have been really good, but Chien-Pao just proves to be such a monster. We'll have to see though. If nothing else, yeah, this is definitely over though, because Owen should be able to take me out. I mean, even though Owen's Trestle Dark, +2 Ice Move should certainly KO my Gallied, right? I mean, if not, then I guess fuck me for not checking. But even still, between this and Mischievous, the game was lost already. Even if I did go in a more optimal order, yeah, this was okay. So even for some reason Owen didn't take me out though, this was still objectively lost. This Mon is so dumb, but is what it is. Is what it is. It's allowed in the format we played. On me for losing to it, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry for all the losses. We'll try and get a win in soon, but you know, I figured it'd be better to upload a loss than act like I don't get them, because no one wins all their games. But if you guys enjoy the content and you want to see more like it, leave a like and subscribe for more. Check out Owen. His channel is going to be down below as well. He's a great content creator. He does a ton of competitive battling. Really good competitive battler too. So if you guys enjoyed seeing my side, I'm sure you'll enjoy what you see from him. With that said, shout out to our channel members, of course, being Josh K Ultra Player, Mia, and Zeke. Your guys' support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to become a channel member today, it's a couple dollars a month, and link to that is down below, as well as the Twitter and Discord to stay up to date on future content. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video, where I believe we're going to be going with Skelly Derge Balance. Until then, peace out, guys.